Something weird is happening with Assassin's Creed right now. A bunch of projects have reportedly been canceled, franchise leadership has changed, Tencent is suddenly involved, and Ubisoft is quietly reshaping the entire future of the series. If you've been confused about what's going on, after digging through the reports, developer comments, and insider leaks, the picture actually starts to make sense. And by the end of this video, you'll know why several Assassin's Creed games were canceled, what Ubisoft's new strategy looks like, and the 3 big Assassin's Creed games likely coming next. One of them might actually be very interesting. So first, we need to talk about the problem. Assassin's Creed hasn't exactly had a smooth few years. Now yes, Assassin's Creed Valhalla sold extremely well, but a lot of longtime fans felt like the series drifted pretty far from what originally made it special. The older games were focused on stealth, tight city design, parkour, and strong historical storytelling. The newer RPG-style games went in a very different direction. Big open worlds, hundreds of hours of content, and sometimes a little too much filler. Ubisoft clearly noticed this criticism. That's partly why Assassin's Creed Mirage happened. Mirage was meant to be a return to classic gameplay, smaller scale, stealth-focused. And while some fans appreciated that approach, it didn't exactly reset the franchise either, which left Ubisoft in a weird position. The RPG formula sells well, but the classic formula is what fans keep asking for. So what did Ubisoft decide to do? Apparently, both. The 10 games at once strategy. For a while, Ubisoft's internal plan for Assassin's Creed was actually pretty ambitious. The idea was to turn the franchise into something closer to a platform rather than just a single series of games. Different types of Assassin's Creed experiences: a big RPG game, a stealth-focused game, multiplayer entries, mobile titles, smaller experimental projects. At one point, reports suggested almost 10 Assassin's Creed projects were in development at the same time, which sounds impressive, but also slightly chaotic. Because running that many projects simultaneously is extremely difficult. Some of them inevitably run into problems, and that's exactly what happened. Over the past couple of years, several Assassin's Creed projects were quietly canceled or delayed, which forced Ubisoft to step back and rethink the strategy. And that leads to the next major development. The leadership behind the franchise changed. Marc-Alexis Cote, who had been overseeing Assassin's Creed for years, stepped away from the role, and Ubisoft brought in 3 new leaders to help guide the series forward. These include experienced developers who previously worked on major Assassin's Creed titles like Black Flag, Origins, Valhalla, which is actually a pretty important detail, because Black Flag in particular is still widely considered one of the best games in the entire series. So Ubisoft is clearly trying to bring in people who understand what made the franchise work in the first place, and that alone gives fans at least a little reason to be cautiously optimistic. But here's where things get even more interesting. Around the same time, Ubisoft also restructured part of the company, and Tencent, the massive Chinese gaming company, increased its investment. Now, to be clear, Tencent didn't buy Ubisoft, but they did become a major partner in a new structure involving some of Ubisoft's biggest franchises, including Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six. And whenever Tencent gets involved in something, people naturally start asking questions. Does this mean more live service elements, more monetization, more multiplayer experiments? The answer seems to be maybe some of that, but not entirely. Because Ubisoft still appears committed to traditional single-player Assassin's Creed games, and several of those are already in development. Based on insider reports and Ubisoft confirmations, there are 3 major Assassin's Creed projects to watch. First up, Assassin's Creed Invictus. This is expected to be a multiplayer-focused game, and reportedly it's being developed by teams that previously worked on For Honor and Rainbow Six Siege, which suggests Ubisoft wants this to be a competitive, long-term multiplayer experience. Details are still pretty limited, but it's expected sometime in the near future. Probably the most surprising one is a remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Yeah, the pirate one, the game that many fans already consider one of the best in the series. According to reports, this remake will use a newer version of Ubisoft's engine, and the idea is to expand the world slightly with more activities while improving the overall gameplay systems. Now, some fans are excited. Others are asking the obvious question: did Black Flag really need a remake? The original game still holds up pretty well, so this one could go either way. So right now, the Assassin's Creed franchise is in a pretty interesting moment. Several projects have been canceled, leadership has changed, the company's structure has shifted. But at the same time, multiple new games are still in development. And Ubisoft seems to be trying something different. Fewer games, but hopefully better ones. Whether that actually works is something we probably won't know until the next wave of Assassin's Creed titles starts releasing, probably sometime between 2026 and 2027. Until then, the future of Assassin's Creed is still a bit uncertain. But at least now, there are signs that Ubisoft is trying to course correct. And honestly, for longtime fans of the series, that might be exactly what it needs.